This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Still waiting in line? Again? That's time you'll never get back. Save time and money with Stamps.com. Over 4 million businesses have skipped the line with Stamps.com. Join them to save up to 90% off carrier rates from your computer or phone right now. Print postage for certified mail, registered mail, and packages in seconds. Then schedule a pickup right from your home or office. For a limited time, go to Stamps.com and use code PODCAST for a free welcome gift. Taxes and fees apply.
A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 101.
All big changes start with a swift kick in the ass. Join the journey of lifelong friends, John Curran and Tom Stewart, as they make conventional thought bend over and take a boot to the keister. Warning, listeners may notice a force equal to or greater than needed to get your ass moving. A swift kick in the ass, living life on your terms.
Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is John Curran, joined with my co-host, Tommy Stewart. And today our topic is smiling back at death. Welcome back, Tommy.
Hey, what's up, John?
You know, Tommy, we haven't been all that consistent with our shows. And what I mean by that is the frequency in which we've been able to publish our shows. It's been challenging because
you're dealing with a blind or half blind guy.
Yeah, and the technology that we've been using took us some time to figure out, but we are hoping that this is it. This will work for us. So let's just kind of give an update on how you've been doing, Tom. And
yeah, if you're new to the show, you gotta learn I have brain cancer. You know, this first showed up 2 years ago, December, as symptoms. I was I was a little wobbly. I choked when I drink water. I was mumbling like I am now, and I thought, I looked on the internet and I saw the symptoms all matched up with ALS. So I called John. I said, hey, I heard his father had passed away from ALS. What are the symptoms?
Yeah, I remember that. And that was one of the most strangest questions and most unsettling questions I have ever received in my life. It's tough. I can't speak for Tommy. I really try my best to put myself in his shoes, but I think that there are some things in life that you can't really understand until you walk through it yourself. And so I try to be as good of a friend as I can
Right.
through this. And
I vividly remember that phone call.
Yeah. And, and it's tough. And I guess on any side of the phone, I'm sure that wasn't easy for you.
No.
Either. And I remember back then too, not knowing what was going on, trying to get answers, becoming, a human pincushion and going through all those tests that you went through and not really getting any answers.
Yeah. So here's the story. I couldn't find a neurologist. My doctor, I just had my physical. Perfect. No problems. Everything was nice. So I said, hey, I have a problem though. I have these symptoms. What could they be? I thought maybe electrolytes or something good, because I was in the prime of my life, ran 20 flights of stairs, 5-story stairs every day. I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 3 times a week. So I didn't really think it was something dangerous until he couldn't find out either. And so he said the next neurologist appointment is 30 days away. And I said, I can't, don't you know someone? He didn't know any neurologists. So I looked up every neurologist in the phone book, called them all, found one that would take me the day after Christmas. So I went to him. He did all kinds of crazy tests on me. And, I put needles on my eyes, and he sent me for an MRI. So me and Jennifer went there next morning. I'm for 2 weeks before Christmas. I thought I had ALS, and I was scared
Yeah.
to death. So I went. He told me, I don't think you have ALS. I think you have MS, and it's treatable. So I went to the Cleveland clinic. The earliest appointment was up in West Palm Beach, I guess, satellite office. So West Palm Beach from Fort Lauderdale is still a good distance. We hiked up there. I started doing tests for MS, like, I did a spinal tap. I did every blood test, every cancer test you could think of, and it was all negative. So my doctor said, "Hey, I think you got choked in jujitsu and cut and went hypoxic." And I didn't, I took, at first I was like, that's a great diagnosis. She said, come back in 6 months. After thinking for a while, I was like, no, that's not right. I've done jiu-jitsu for 9 years. There's no way that, I thought maybe like my artery got cut off
Yeah.
and the blood flow to my head. Yes, but we checked all that. We did tests for everything. And I didn't believe her, what she told me. So next day I called the other Cleveland clinic, which is close to by, and they said, well, we have one appointment. Otherwise you'll have to wait 30 days. The one appointment was at 10:30. It was 10 o'clock. I asked my boss to say, hey, I gotta go. So he let me go. I went to the other doctor. He told me from the shape of it, it could be a tumor. So, and I guess I have lesions, lesions on my brain. And I guess they can't tell if they're lesions or tumors or
Yeah.
what they are.
I remember that, Tommy. When you were going through all that testing,
Yeah.
I think anyone wants to keep to the status quo, right? They want to keep to their normal life. And for you, your normal life was not only the jujitsu, but also it was working, it was family. I mean, as many of us, we have very full lives. And what I remember, particularly back then, was you were going through these tests, and some of them were pretty,
Yeah.
pretty invasive,
The spinal tap was really
yeah.
invasive.
And you went back to work.
Yeah.
And you had this mindset, like, you know what, I'm just going to kind of work this into my schedule. And of course you never want to think the worst case scenario. You always want to think the best.
We have a friend that her brother is a brain surgeon. So I sent him everything I had, all my tests, And he said, I don't think it's cancer. It's probably I forget the name of this thing, but it was a virus that gets inside you, causes similar situations, and it's treatable with antibiotics. I really thought that's what I had.
Yeah. But, 2 years now down the road, you've had a lot of your questions answered. You have a diagnosis. You've gone through treatment. And things have stabilized for you.
Yes.
And, we continuously hope that things will continue to be stable.
Right.
So right now, I don't think you're taking any medications. You're not. You're done with chemo.
Done with chemo. I'm off all medication. Now, I just went to the hospital this weekend because my wife found me on the toilet, completely passed out, but I had my eyes open, so she thought I either went in a coma or I'm dead.
Yeah.
She called 911. They came and got me. Now, before this happened, I remember the night before, I take marijuana to help the brain cancer.
Right.
So, besides the effects, it's been proven that it has a certain effect on destroying tumors. So I took a little bit too much, and I remember I got up to go to the bathroom. My wife wheeled me into the bathroom. I felt high. I told her, I said, I'm still high. And because she's like, what's wrong with you? Because I was like, I have to transfer from the wheelchair to the toilet. And that was a little harder than normal.
Yeah.
So I transferred. I was waiting for her. I flushed the toilet. I was ready to go. Normally I call her, but I didn't call her this time. I remember feeling real nauseous. And then I guess that's when I passed out. So, and I think, have been having some low blood pressure. And I went to a 5K that day before. I didn't run. Jen ran. She took second place, by the way. And then she pushed me through. It's like they call the holiday lights.
Yeah.
They have the area is all dark, and you walk through, and they have little displays and snowman and Santa. And I was wearing lights. I had my wheelchair decked out. But I think that, maybe I wasn't hydrated enough, and I really didn't have a good dinner because they gave us some pollo tropical, which is a local chicken and rice and beans kind of place. And I don't eat rice because I'm on a keto diet for treatment. My own treatment, a way to control whatever cancer I had. They had proven that or shown in studies that keto diet was good for brain cancer. So obviously I started doing the keto diet, and then basically they don't want you to have any sugar, and white rice changed the sugar, so I didn't eat any. So yeah, it was this I think
Yeah.
the circumstances around everything. And I went to the hospital. They told me, no, they did a CT scan, which could tell I didn't have a brain bleed or something else weird going, like aneurysm or something. And they wanted to put me on seizure medicine, which I told them no because I'm not taking any medication. I really don't want to put medication in my body unless it's needed. And this was something I was going to have to take for the rest of my life. And I said, I don't believe that was caused by anything other than the marijuana and low blood pressure. So
Yeah. So, the episode here is titled Smiling Back at Death. And from what I'm hearing from you, I doesn't make me want to smile. It doesn't sound very fun.
well, Jennifer, I'm blind in one eye and not so good in the other. But Jennifer told me that often I'll sleep with my eye open. She'll talk to me and I'm not responding back. And she's getting mad thinking I'm ignoring her when in reality I'm asleep. So
Yeah.
2 nights ago I was joking around and she came to bed and but then I was snoring and but I had my eyes wide open staring at her just to freak her out. Little did I know, 2 days later, it actually happened.
Yeah. That reminds me of a story. Back when you and I were in high school, we were part of band
Yeah.
and we went to Mexico. And I remember there was, we all roomed together. And I remember in the middle of the night, one of the kids comes running out into the hallways, just screaming, "Ed is dead! Ed is dead! Ed is dead!" And everyone's freaked out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Ed died? What?" And it wasn't, Ed didn't die. Ed was sleeping with his eyes open and it freaked his roommate out. Ed was just fine. But uh, I could imagine, seeing anyone sleeping with their eyes open. It is kind of freaky.
Yeah. And she told me I was out for like 10 minutes. And her and my son Hunter were screaming and yelling, trying to get me to come to or do
Yeah.
anything. And finally, I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" When they were trying to move me, I guess, because I don't want to die with my pants off sitting on the toilet.
I don't, yeah, and then I was, thinking about how Elvis died. Elvis died on the toilet. And, the old joke is, what were Elvis's last words? Corn? Yeah. I don't want to make that joke about you, my best
Well,
friend.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so here we are, talking about what's going on with you, Tom. And as I said, it's not a lot to smile about. But with that being said, I see and I know that you're out there with your family. You're doing the things that are most important to you. You're creating memories with your family, enjoying, the holiday events,
Yeah.
and trying to make the most out of, these cards that have, been given to you.
You know,
And
but
you made a comment to me earlier about how you're not afraid to die,
yeah,
but you are afraid of something.
I'm afraid of not living.
Right. Hence, and that's really what this is about, smiling at death, is because sometimes you have no choice. There's nothing, you have no other option but to smile at death and say, you know what, you can throw whatever you have to at me, and I'm going to have to take it. And I'm going to try to deal with that the best that I can.
You
But
know,
you got to continue to enjoy life.
the first year that I had this, John, I struggled. I searched the internet for alternative cures or
Yeah.
treatments, and I was afraid, but later on, I finally conquered it. They say that where there's faith, there's no fear. You know,
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I always went with the, you know, thought that, fear is fear keeps you alive. There's flight or fight. It's a basic instinct that every human being has, and animals have. We all have to fight to survive,
right?
or we have to run from it. Um, and that fear sometimes pushes you to run, but in your case, you got to stand up. You got to fight.
When I first I discovered the diets, the first was the Gerson diet. It's just basically all vegetarian.
Okay.
Um, I tried that for a while, and I called up their clinic. They had one in Mexico, and I was just curious how much it cost. What do you
Right.
do in there? And they told me what kind of cancer you have. I said I have brain cancer. They told me, oh, we don't treat that because we don't have much success with it. And I told them, it's all right. I hung up and I decided then that I had read about keto and that they were having some success in brain cancer because there's two pathways that feed the tumors: sugar, which is most popular, and L-glutamine, which is amino acid. Now they had done tests where they blocked L-glutamine, and in other countries they had success. So I was like, well, I'll try that. I know it's only half the solution, but I cut all sugar. I eat all vegetables and meat, and I don't know if it's working, but I've been stable for 5.5 months, and I think it's helping. I have that, and I have the Optune, which is a device I wear on my head. It makes me look like a brainiac,
It does.
but you know, like right now I'm not. Usually when I go out, I wear a scarf and a hat, but right now I'm just kind of sitting around. And I got all kinds of wires sticking out of my head, but it was shown like people that have GBM, which is glioblastoma. It's grade 4. I have a grade 3 astrocytoma, and the people that had the 4s were the only ones that were getting it. And it's shown that say they were without it, they would live a year. They would live a year and a half. So I said, hey, I asked my doctor about it, and since they treat my cancer like I'm a glioblastoma because it's aggressive. They got me the device. I think I'm one of the first that has a grade 3 that wears it. So, anyways, I think that's part of what's saving my life.
Yeah.
And
Y-
I'm doing that, the keto diet, and I'm doing marijuana, which is what kind of got me in trouble that night. I was high. I had low blood pressure. I was probably dehydrated from
Yeah.
the night before, and it was just the perfect elements.
Yeah. Boy, that gives you a little bit different way to view smiling back at death.
Yeah.
you know, it, yeah. I mean, I think from where I'm sitting, you do whatever you possibly can to try to better your life. It doesn't matter if you're sick or not, or healthy. Um, we all want to we all want to be able to smile back at death and say, haha, you know what? you can try to get me, but I'm going to do everything I can to stay here.
That's right, man. I'm not going easy. That's for sure.
Right. So with that all being said, I know that you're also, part of your life now, Tom, is involvement with Gilda's Club.
Yeah, that's right.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Gilda's Club, and I'm not going to steal Tom's thunder, I'll let him talk about it. He's the one who's a member. But I see you, Tom, continuing to give of yourself and trying to help others.
Yeah, because you go there, you share your feelings, share what treatments you're on, and if they're working or not. So I always help anyone that's in that situation. Or the other night, we had a new guy with throat cancer. Obviously he lost a lot of weight from having throat cancer, not being able to eat. But I told him, I said, there's still hope. I have a friend that fought throat cancer and he beat it with conventional treatments. And just to give him hope, an encouraging word, you know, that there is hope that he can survive.
Yes.
And you go there, we share, we talk, I made a lot of good friends there. But not every city has a Gilda's Club, you know. So there's a lot of people out there that have no one to turn to, no one to talk to. I'm in the process right now of building a new website, which will have me. Few posts I've been on, I translate text to speech, so with some voices that sound pretty human, not like a robot. And I find cancer articles I'm interested in, and I have the voice to text read it to them. Plus, I paste the article there so they can find more out on their own. But that's how I'm giving back. I got a Google number, and so people can call me. I enlisted some of the people from Gilda's to help me if the volume goes where I can't handle it. Right now, as I say, I'm the healthiest cancer patient around. I feel better than I did before. I eat good. I'm well rested, and I get my flu shot. I take only thing I take is an probiotic that helps build your immune system, because most immune system is from your gut. And the one system Gerson I was talking about, that's what they rely on, is their immune system to kill the cancer. So I'm trying, John sent me an article about 6 months ago about immunotherapy. So I asked my doctor, what about this? And there is a trial. I just have to wait until the cancer comes back before I can try it, because cancer likes to hide, but immunotherapy discovers the cancer and your own immune system fights it. So I've been very cautious about trying to strengthen it. Like yesterday, I was next to someone that was coughing in the hospital. Normally, when you're a cancer patient, they put you in your own room. They put me next to this lady, sounded like she had water in her lungs, hacking. So I said, hey, could you move me? I have cancer. They moved into another room. And the doctors came in, they wanted to put me on seizure medicine. I don't think I had a seizure, and I wasn't about to take some medicine that could affect my immune system or weaken it. And I told them, and take it for the rest of my life. I told him, I said, I don't want it. And my other doctor, we texted her and she agreed. She thought it was a good idea. I turned it down. So I feel really good about that because doctors are quick to prescribe something without really taking the time to know you.
Yeah, Tommy, as I'm listening to you talk about your experience, I have to think too that a lot of this, as bad as it is and bad as what you're going through, this has to give you some reason to smile. And why I say that is because often oftentimes I think when we go through difficult times, we're so far out of control. We have no control over this. We don't ask. We don't ask for it. We don't say, we don't ask for it. We don't want it. But here we are. And we feel like we have no control. But you are asserting control. You are saying, no, I don't want this. I do want that. You are calling the shots as much as you can.
Yeah, I do take physical therapy and try to strengthen myself. OT, which is works on my hand and my shoulder because they don't move. So
Yeah.
if they don't move them, they will lock up. So they stretch me out. And at home, my friends from work bought me a recumbent bike, which probably after I'm done doing the show, I'll go get on a bike for a few minutes. It keeps you moving.
Yeah.
I think it's important to keep moving, not just lay in bed.
Yeah. And, this is really what this episode, this is what we wanted this episode to all be about, and send the message to say that it's really up to you how you want to live your life, regardless of the conditions that we all face and the challenges that we face. We can sit there and we can take it. We can lie down and die, or we can fight and we can try to assert control, and we can try to bring smiles to our own faces as well as those that we love and care about. Bring some happiness into our lives, as challenging as it is. That to me, I think, is one of the takeaways for the audience, is that we might have it bad, and there's no disputing that having 5 brain tumors, that's bad. But what can you do?
It's better than ALS, which definitely would have killed me in 5 years. This I've been around for 2 years and I'm feeling good. So if I can keep holding out, maybe another treatment will come along or another drug will be approved. And if not, I'll live my life to the fullest until it's time that I gotta go.
Right. And so I think that's a perfect bridge to kind of starting to tie up this episode. As I mentioned earlier on, we haven't been all that consistent in our ability to produce new episodes, and we've been working behind the scenes to manage that. And I think that with this episode, this marks a pivotal moment in this podcast, because we're not going to stop. We have no intentions of giving this podcast up, and we're going to keep going. We hope that this can help bring a smile to your face, no matter what challenges. And we want to help. Um, Tommy offers his perspective and his life experience. I have my life experience. And when we started this podcast over 5 years ago now, we saw it then, and we still see it today as a journey. This is the journey of our life, and these are the terms that we have to live with. We do our best to try to negotiate or renegotiate the terms that we don't like. And sometimes all you can do is smile and say,
That's right. And like just like Friday night, we went out to a Beatles tribute band,
cool.
and they were very good. And the people dancing, so I get in my wheelchair, have my wife wheel me out there, and my sister-in-law, and start dancing. And I've done that several times. I did it at the Hard Rock Casino the week before, so I'm not afraid of getting up in front of people and doing stuff that's different,
Right.
you know.
And you never have been.
Well, I had a little fear that kept me quiet and for my full potential, I think. But, we do karaoke, which is very therapeutic. Every time we have a party, I set it up and I grab the mic and sing.
Yeah.
And I obviously can't sing like I used to because my voice, as you hear, is, slurred, and I've lost the strength of it, but you still do it. You get out there and you do it.
Right. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this podcast. We plan on putting out more episodes, and we plan on focusing on this swift kick in the ass that is right here in front of us. We know that everyone has gotten a swift kick in the ass from time to time, some more serious than others. And we hope that this podcast provides inspiration and also an awareness that you are not alone. There are ways to help make your life better. And we hope that you join us on this journey and continue to join us on this journey.
Absolutely.
If you have any comments, questions, maybe you want to be put on the list for Tommy's website for the Golders Club, the virtual
Right.
Golders Club, feel free to reach out to us through our email, through our website.
The website's easy to remember. It's my name, Tom J. Stewart. So
is it Tommy? Is it Thomas? Is it Tom?
the URL is Tom.
Okay.
Tom J. Stewart.
Okay, Tom J. Stewart.
And we have a Facebook page for a Swift Kick in the Ass. We'd love to have you guys stop by. We always posting content there, and it's a good way to keep in touch.
Yep. So, also what we do is with our shows, we always provide a quote, and that we believe in stoicism, being real and about things. And there's a quote I think is perfect for this topic. It's from Marcus Aurelius, who was a big Stoic philosopher, as well as far as one of the. Actually, it's late. I'm blanking, but he said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And Tommy had a life and lived a good life before he got sick, and getting sick kind of threw a monkey wrench into that. But it has not stopped him. from trying to not trying, but from living his life. And as his, longtime childhood friend, it's a different challenge for me. But I think it's also a challenge that others can relate to as well, because you may have loved ones or friends, that, people that you care about that are challenged in one way or another. And we want to be good friends and we want to be there. So that's really what this podcast is all about. And we hope that you join us for future episodes, and we hope to hear from you.
Peace. I love you guys. Thanks for listening.
And I'm sorry, Tommy, did I cut you off?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I try not to do that. But anyhow, until next time, this is John Curran.
This is Tom Stewart.
We'll talk to you later.
Peace.
Keep kicking ass. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, and that today's topic inspires you to get your ass moving and living on your terms. Please take a moment to rank this episode on iTunes or wherever you get this podcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Visit our website at aswiftkickintheass.com. Have a great day.